This is our Black Plague.
There's 25 million people that suffer from this illness.
We have an epidemic.
That is a quick snapshot of a documentary that may catch your interest. Anonymous People is being screened this Sunday for Recovery Day at the Regina Public Library. Rantid is a drug counselor, of course, involved in the organizing of this, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Molly.
Now, I know you've seen this.
Yeah.
What appeals to you about it?
The thing that's really interesting about it is that people are celebrating recovery instead of being embarrassed about having a drug or alcohol problem, and that's really a big thing. Like the fact that there's a lot of stigmatization about drug and alcohol problems tends to prevent people from wanting to get help for it. And what we're trying to do with this, and what this national movement is trying to do, is, for lack of a better term, sort of get that out of the closet, and have people become okay with, yeah, I've got a problem, and I'm going to go get some help with it.
Well, those are some staggering numbers. I mean, watching that trailer a little bit, you can find it on YouTube as well, of the Americans that are dealing with it. Now, how does Canada equal out in terms of how many people are dealing
Statistically,
with addiction?
it's the same.
Okay.
Like 2/3 of Canadian families are dealing with addiction issues. They said 25 million. We've got 2.5 million. Like, we're about 10% of the size of the U.S. Our cultures are very, very similar. Our drug and alcohol cultures are very, very similar. One of the really interesting things in the film is a woman comes on and talks about she's in a recovery program, which she's happy about, but she ended up with breast cancer, and when she came out of the cancer treatment clinic, there was like almost a celebration that she was in recovery, and how can we help you, and what can we do to enhance your life, and what we're dealing with is people are ashamed to talk about it and ashamed to go and look for help. So we're just trying to change that perception, change that thinking, to make it more acceptable to go get help. Is
that recovery process then almost never ending? Is it a full life?
Yeah, it's the same as cancer recovery. Like, you go through stages, and once you're free of the initial problem, there's still work to do to keep yourself healthy, just like there is if you're recovering from cancer or any other like serious medical problem.
So where can people find this weekend? Where can they find the documentary and come watch it with everyone?
The Regina Public Library has very graciously donated their film theater. They're partnering with us on this. 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon, Regina Public Library Theater. You can come there, watch the film, still get home to watch the Rider game.
Yeah, it's 45 minutes, so you can do both.
Yeah, and we're having a little rally in front of City Hall afterwards. The mayor has proclaimed Regina Recovery Day, September 8th, and I just got a letter from the Premier yesterday congratulating us on doing this. So.
Excellent, and we're going to hear what is part of that recovery from a family perspective as well. Coming up at 7:50, we have a mother of a recovering addict.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rand, for being here.
Molly.
Appreciate it. We'll talk to you in an hour.
Okay.
Stay with us. More CTV Morning Lab coming up.
We could ever tap those 20 million people in long-term recovery. You change this overnight.
Now it's my turn to teach you that recovery works.
That's part of a powerful documentary called Anonymous People, being screened for Recovery Day this Sunday. You can catch it at the Regina Public Library. Someone that can explain the process perhaps even better is Pat Quarrie, who helped her own daughter through the addiction process, and Rantid joins us again on the set. Pat, I guess the first question is, when did you know that something was clearly wrong?
Probably about a year into her youth. So about the time she was maybe 15 or so. And my daughter she had struggled with depression before she went on this journey into addiction. So it was really easy for me to blame it on that. And in hindsight, when I look back, there's a lot of denial that happens. I mean, the signs are there. but it's really easy to blame it on something else, or she's just being a teenager. So it's really important to look for those signs without a doubt.
So when you talk about those signs, did you notice changes in her behavior, in her sleeping patterns?
Oh,
what were the benchmarks for you?
There were, you know, as time progressed, there were changes in her behavior. She became angry. She would be distant, no emotion, a lack of hygiene, change in friends, just very slowly losing things that were important to her or that had been very important in her life.
So what was the breaking point for you when you decided it was time to confront her?
Well, I think the breaking point, if I recall, was, you know, just probably getting caught in another lie, and I confiscated the keys for her car. And at that point, I think she recognized that she couldn't do this anymore. She made a call to Rand, who, you know, and then in turn I got on the phone with Rand, and, you know, he let me know that my daughter had a serious, well, she was addicted.
So when it came time for the actual, I want to use the word intervention, for many of us, all we know is what we see on A&E when we watch it. Was the process that dramatic in your household?
No, it wasn't. I'm not a screamer, hollerer. I mean, there were instances where there were heated moments, but she recognized that she had a problem. And it was her initial, she was done doing this. So she was all for going to detox. And then, you know, once she went through that process, into rehab.
And give us a sense for what what's her current standing and status at the moment as far as her recovery?
She's been clean and sober for 1.5 years, here, and she's doing, you know, very well. She's enrolled in university in Lethbridge in the addictions counseling degree program, and, you know, it took a long time. And for her, recovery will be a lifelong process, you know. You don't cure this disease. We
just have, unfortunately, just a couple of seconds left. The one thing I want to ask about is, give us a sense for what it did to the dynamic of the family. Obviously, there was the struggle between your daughter and her addiction, but everybody gets involved and everybody gets encompassed in this.
Without a doubt, they do. Everyone's affected, and I think it's very important. As I did, was you know, I sought out my own recovery. Rand suggested that I go to Al-Anon. Now that's a 12-step program based on Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's designed for the family and friends of alcoholics. So I need to take responsibility so I could support her in healthier ways.
I would venture to guess that the biggest advice you have to another parent that might be going through and wandering the same path would be to trust your gut. You know your children better than anyone else, and so when you see the deviations from their characteristics and from their patterns and from their behaviors, you need to listen to that voice inside, I would think.
Oh, without a doubt. And don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, this is a shame-based disease, and there's no shame in this. It's a disease. You know, so ask for help. You know, there's lots of avenues. Phone Rand, you know, seek out counseling for yourself, you know.
Good. It's a powerful story, and thank you very much for coming in and sharing it with us.
You're welcome.
If you're looking for more information on the documentary itself, it is called Recovery Day, and the screening is this Sunday, September 8th at the Regina Public Library. Stay with us. More on CTV Morning Live coming up in just a moment.